to Friday on Real FM. The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The CDC opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosile Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The man.
Everyone, welcome once again to The Real Issues with me, Shelton Daniel, your host and producer, alongside my co-host and co-producer, Terry Fenelon, and our technical operator, Alton Jaquan Joseph. It is Thursday, the 14th of August, 2025. Our program, as you know, airs weekdays from 12:30 until 2 p.m. On the radio station Real FM that serves you on two frequencies, 91.3 megahertz for the north and 91.5 megahertz for the south. We are on NBC television, simulcasting channel 120 on the Flow Cable TV service. We are on Facebook Live and YouTube live streaming as well. I hope you're having a good day so far. I'm so thankful for the days that we are having. They are bright and sunny days, but they are not hot, not oppressively so. At least I'm so grateful for them. The experience we had in the last few years, especially 2023, has caused me to always be thankful for what are not small mercies. They are great mercies, when you can feel a little more comfortable in your own climes. They've really had me thinking that, this thing about global warming and all of that, it really is not a joke. Added to that, we are in the hurricane season, and so we always have to be alert, to be careful, to be prepared. Today I had intended to continue my examination of the court case that resulted in a judge declaring certain aspects of our criminal code to be at variance with the Constitution in terms of people's privacy, in terms of their freedom of association, in terms of so many other things, their sexual choices, their lifestyle preferences, and things of that sort, particularly with reference to what is somewhat pejoratively referred to as buggery. Most people would prefer anal sex or prefer something of that kind. As a matter of fact, the law that was referred to in that case didn't have anything to do with anal sex between a man and a consenting woman. According to that law, anal sex was sexual intercourse per anus between a man and a woman. So it really did not envision, that's to show you how old it was, it didn't envision anal sex occurring between a man and a woman, etc. I don't want to go down the road, but something I began to say yesterday before the telephone started ringing and I had to give way to the callers was that such court cases, we have to see them as helping in the development of the law, in the sense that it's easy for parliaments, and the parliament back in those days was nothing like the parliament that we have today. There was not that open democratic process in the sense that the people elected were not elected from a system of universal adult suffrage, which we have had since 1951 or 1950 thereabout, by the way, ushered in at a time when the Labour Party was gaining strength and stride and currency under the leadership of Sir George Frederick Lawrence Charles, deceased, the first Chief Minister of St. Lucia, founder, among others, of the St. Lucia Labour Party. But these things were not even. But the development of the law really is that it's one thing for Parliament, it's one thing for elected members, appointed senators, to go to the Parliament and to decide we need a law to define this, to prescribe this, to determine what is prohibited and what is permissible and so on. But when they do that, it's not that they don't have any mind, because I'm sure they read, but usually you only find conflicts with the Constitution when there is a practical application of that law. Then you have lawyers, defense lawyers, most times, who will come out and point out that, hey, this particular law is at variance and in conflict with the Constitution, which is the highest land. Because on the one hand, the Constitution tells you that a person shall not be hindered from their lifestyle choice, from freedom of expression, from freedom of assembly, from freedom to be a member of a trade union. And yet you have this employer saying, we're very sorry, once you're in a union, we cannot employ you. Or if we do find out after we have employed you that you're a member of a union, that you will not be eligible for promotion, you will not be eligible for pay raises and so on. So sometimes there is a law which would allow this, that an employer has the right to forbid employees from being members of other organizations that the employer deems to be incompatible or inconsistent with their work. And then a lawyer will come and will say, hey, how do you square this with the Constitution, which says, except with his own consent, a person shall not be prevented from freedom of association, which includes freedom to be members of organizations and so on. And the development of the law is that when these cases are taken before the courts, then you can find that the law has been tested. It has been found wanting. It can either be repealed, it can either be amended, etc., to correct it. It has a defect, and the defect has to be either cured or it has to be tossed out. Therefore, we are all the better for this thing having been tested in court. And so next time that legislators come to pass any law along those lines or along other lines, they are now armed, they are now equipped. We can say they have now been chastened. They have now been set on a better course. Their heads put more right than it was before, to know that there are certain things that they need to take into account before they do. And hence you have what is called the development of the law. There is also the development of our understanding, of our consciousness, of our awareness of the law when those things happen. We grow in our understanding. And I think it was, earlier this week that you heard me give a big up to a magistrate in the traffic court, who I said every time while I was interacting there, you come, you expect your case will be heard. This Magistrate Reynolds, takes it, uses it as an opportunity to say, okay, I want everybody who's present to understand what has just happened here. This person has just pleaded guilty, so there is no need for a trial. And if he had said he is not guilty, then we would have to set a date for a trial where he would have to answer questions. He would have a right to pose questions against the officer, at the officer charging him, etc. This helps the public understanding. And when we have a better understanding of the law, I think it helps our own conformity with it. I believe it helps our interaction and our interface with others, members of the society, and with the society as a whole. It probably helps our compliance with the law. So many things that we don't go making accusations. We don't go making wild claims like, this thing which happened there is the government, the Philip J. Pierre administration that passed a law to legalize, homosexuality and bullying and this kind of thing. When in fact it is, we do not understand what has happened. And many of us, quite frankly, do not want to put ourselves out to understand. So the development of the law and the enhancement, the improvement, the sharpening of public understanding for our rights, our responsibilities, our duties, and our privileges as citizens is always helped and enhanced when we have a better understanding of the law. It's not something you can acquire in one go. You wake up one day and suddenly you decide to go to the law library and to pick up some books and to read, and suddenly you understand. Not even lawyers, who that's their life's calling and their profession and vocation and their training. They go to university how many years? They go to law school after that. They in practice, they articled as clerks or assistants to a senior lawyer before they come with what can be considered to be an impressive knowledge of the law, whether of the general law or certain areas of special. I don't expect you as a person who's not really immersed in law or saturating yourself in it as one of those lawyers we hear, their names being mentioned, that you will. But when those things happen, they give us a better understanding of the law and maybe tickle our curiosity so that we want to learn more about it and understand, especially as it pertains to us. Now, I decided to put this aside. Folks, it appears like, we know already the story of the whole Martinez thing. Martinez didn't get the job done. So certain people, we know who they are, they decide they got to do it themselves. They have injunction out to see if they can block and freeze the CIP, and they bringing in other surrogates to bring up certain narratives and whatever. And, indirectly this time, not as directly as they did with Martinez, to go after Ernest Hilaire and McClaudy Manuel to discredit what they've said. But I would ask those surrogates, even though I have no time for them, I'm not even mentioning their names. That's giving them too much relevance and so on. So I'm just going to, in a very tangential, glancing blow kind of way, just say this. Was it not earlier this year, Terry, if not earlier, if not before that the CIP reports were tabled in Parliament?
I gave you a copy, a hard copy.
Yes!
Yes,
I still have it.
I read it.
It's probably in my bag right
Somewhere,
now.
yeah.
What was it not then that, did we hear the leader of the opposition, the immediate past Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, in his capacity now as leader of the opposition, who is also chairman of the Public Accounts Committee. Did we hear him dispute or challenge or say anything to the effect that he rejects this report? Did we hear him say that? No. So why now we're hearing people coming and giving what they purport to be, what they are purporting to be, controverted information, contradictory information to what is in the report, even though the report says that in 2024 we didn't go above maybe 1,000 whatever.
5,400.
No, applications were made, but granted.
1,017 something.
Yes, like that were granted. People want to come and say that 15,000, 60,000 were granted. The question I was at them, why should I believe you more than a report which was tabled in the parliament? And if you can take that report to pieces and you can essentially refute what's in that report, there's nothing more that would embarrass the government more than that they come into parliament with something. So why should I believe you more than them? Where do you acquire the kind of standing and the kind of credibility and credence that I should believe what you say? It was in the parliament. They were tabled in the parliament. I think one of them came a bit late because of they explained certain things that were going on and so on. Yes. But then they gave both of them, I think, back to back, essentially, and all of that. So let us go back. Yes. Terry, if you don't mind.
No, I don't.
Let's take a little 10 minutes to listen to part of what the minister responsible for the CIP, the Minister for Investment, the Deputy Prime Minister, the Member of Parliament for Castries South, what he, excuse me?
Yeah, let's apologize to our listeners because today we may open the lines a little late.
Yes.
Because they have some things we must do.
Definitely.
All right? Yes.
Let us hear what Honorable Dr. Ernest Ile had to say then, just earlier this year.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, today we table before this Honorable House the annual report of the Citizenship by Investment Program, CIP, for the period April 2023 to March 2024. According to legislation, this report should have been tabled by October 2024. A number of factors contributed to this delay, including the change in auditors and unprecedented increase in applications, which delayed the delivery of the report by the auditors, who had to go through a larger than expected sample of files for examination. Of course, Mr. Speaker, we also noted the intense attacks and accusations on the program and other programs in the region, which also came under intense scrutiny. The next report, Mr. Speaker, is due by October 2025. And Mr. Speaker, every effort is presently being made to deliver this report on time. The period under review can be categorized as the most transformative and efficient year in the short history of the St. Lucia Citizenship by Investment Program. Due to enhanced training and capacity building, the unit more than doubled its processing rate, and as a result experienced an almost 300% increase in the annual surplus. As promised to our local and overseas stakeholders, the unit is continually strengthening its processes to ensure we maintain the integrity of not just the program, but brand St. Lucia. Mr. Speaker, I want this House to note that in September 2023, the unit became the first in the region to implement the applicant identity and verification interviews, along with financial screening by the Financial Intelligence Authority. These two additional layers of vetting never existed before we came into office, and further underpins St. Lucia's conformity to the best practices and confidence that every successful applicant is thoroughly screened and cleared by independent partners. So when you hear all the noise, Mr. Speaker, that St. Lucia is not doing proper due diligence, we not only have the most exhaustive due diligence process, but we have been able to add 2 layers to what we had previously. Mr. Speaker, in summary, during the period 1st April 2023 to 31st March 2024, the Citizenship by Investment Unit achieved the following: $179.6 million, or 296% increase in revenue, from $60.6 million in 2023 to $240.2 million in the year ending 2024. 294% increase in the annual operating surplus of the unit, from $22.8 million to $89.9 million. A $31.3 million of 83% increase, $31.3 million or 83% increase in net assets relative to 2023. 424% increase in applications received, from 1,076 to 5,642 received. A 127% increase in the total number of applications processed, from 550 to 1,249. I want to repeat this, Mr. Speaker. A 127% increase in the total number of applications processed, from 550 to 1,248. It should also be further highlighted that this increase was achieved despite the implementation of additional layers of due diligence checks. And you'd have heard a lot of talk, Mr. Speaker, from the opposition, from Mr. Martinez, that 40,000 applications were approved and how many tens of thousands of passports given. When you review the report, Mr. Speaker, 1,248 applications were processed, Mr. Speaker. Where is the 40,000 that they spoke about? 6, the implementation of all of the 6 principles as agreed to with the U.S. State Department. This is important to note as we maintain an excellent relationship with all our international partners, especially the United States. We will continue to work with our partners to ensure that their concerns are always considered and addressed in the best way possible. Notwithstanding the milestones, the unit experienced a few shortcomings, including 1, continued delays in the clearance of funds at the bank. The board and management of the unit continue to engage with its primary bank on ways to improve the efficiency in the process. This includes granting the bank user access to its application portal with the ability to review documents critical to their process. And 2, while the unit has become more efficient, bottlenecks still exist at various stages of the process. I can, however, assure our partners that the unit has further increased its efficiency and will achieve another 100% increase in its processing rate for the period ending March 31st, 2025. Mr. Speaker, despite my efforts and that of the CIP unit to clarify and enlighten the public on workings and processes of the Citizenship by Investment Program, the member for Miku South, the leader of the opposition, continues to mislead the St. Lucian public and indeed the world. There is a calculated effort to distribute and circulate fabricated information about myself, the government, and indeed St. Lucia and its people, with no regard for the reputation and injury to the country and its people. He just does not seem to care about the people and indeed St. Lucia. Mr. Speaker, under our government, we have sought to strengthen our CIP program and bring about greater transparency, integrity, and confidence in the program. We have implemented systems and processes as advised by the U.S. government. We have brought in the Financial Intelligence Authority to carry out further due diligence and have employed numerous other mechanisms to build redundancy in the program. Yet despite all of this, the leader of the opposition continues to proclaim to the world and to all in St. Lucia that there is corruption in the CIP and that no due diligence is being done. The truth is, we have strengthened the very program he systematically undermined during his tenure as Prime Minister. We must not forget who amended the legislation to reduce the investment levels, who removed the annual quota, who eliminated the net worth requirement for all applicants, who allowed escrow accounts to be located outside St. Lucia, and who introduced the payment of commissions. Every action to undermine the program was done by the honorable member. In contrast, we have taken deliberate steps to reinforce the program, and as I mentioned previously, we will be taking additional steps with some amendments to the legislation which will be presented to Parliament shortly. We must always remember the saying that says, evil thinks what evil does. Everything that the honorable member accuses others of doing is often a reflection of what he has done or contemplated doing himself. Mr. Speaker, there are times when I am genuinely concerned about the leader of the opposition's grasp on reality. One cannot be so blatantly dishonest about the processes and decisions that he created and signed off on. Take, for example, the repeated slogans by the leader of the opposition and the UWP. Where the money gone? He let thief over $1.5 billion. Galaxy, Galaxy, Galaxy. He demands that I table the Galaxy contract. Well, he was the Prime Minister. He has a copy of the Galaxy contract that he signed, so he can table it. And while he is at it, he should also table the escrow account, the escrow agreement that was signed with Galaxy. That's the document that tells where the money is. Mr. Speaker, you see, the leader of the opposition is fully aware of how the CIPs across the regions are structured. He knows that developers are allowed a number of shares, which are then purchased by applicants, which qualifies them for citizenship. The applicant pays to the developer for the share and pays to the government the associated fees. He knows because he signed an agreement with the developer and authorized the developer to use that money for construction and all associated services to market and payments of commissions as necessary. Moreover, he agreed in that agreement to have an escrow account established to receive those funds. But, Mr. Speaker, the leader of the opposition went even further and changed the law of St. Lucia so that the escrow account can be established overseas. Yes, he changed the law, Mr. Speaker. Now he's shouting from the rooftops, where the money gone? Where the money gone? Well, Mr. Speaker, the money went exactly where he contracted it to go. The money went exactly where he contracted it to go. He should table the escrow agreement that was signed when he was Prime Minister. What the leader of the opposition should now do is to explain to the people of St. Lucia the details of the escrow agreement which was signed when he was Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, I know I am constrained by a pending legal matter, so I will stop here, but trust me, I will say more when this matter is resolved before the courts. Mr. Speaker, I have read and heard some of our people argue that it could never be the case that the investment or proceeds from the sale of shares was intended to go to the developer. Unlike the leader of the opposition, who seems to live and breathe in misleading the nation, I will state clearly that this is indeed how all real estate options for CIP, CBI programs work in the Caribbean, and indeed countries with citizenship programs. The process is for funds to go to the developer, who is to utilize those funds to carry out the development and take care of all associated costs. The idea is that the country would benefit from the government fees, benefit from job creation both during construction and operation of the hotels, have a physical asset that cannot be taken away from the country, and provide the most needed hotel rooms. Mr. Speaker, the government's obligation is to see to it that the development is being carried out as set out in the contract to bring about what was envisaged. And it is that escrow agreement and the contract that is important. Presently, Invest St. Lucia is charged with that responsibility and has been working assiduously to facilitate the development. Mr. Speaker, I must be honest in stating that we are not satisfied with the pace of construction and the persistent delays in completing the project. While we acknowledge that there have been significant increases in the construction costs and changes to the scope of the project, including the addition of more rooms and revised facilities at the request of the hotel operators, it has admittedly been a source of frustration. Nevertheless, we remain committed to working closely with the developer to bring the project to completion and ensure that it delivers the benefits intended for the people of St. Lucia. The CIP board has engaged a quantity surveyor who is assessing the development and will be on site to work closely with the developer to ensure the project is completed. Mr. Speaker, there is talk of a Chinese due diligence company being utilized by the CIP unit. A Chinese due diligence company. It is shameless on the part of the leader of the opposition, who would not put up his hands to say to the people that it was under his watch that the Chinese due diligence company was contracted with his blessings. Mr. Speaker, when we came into office and whilst carrying out a soft audit of the CIP unit, we indeed found out that the leader of the opposition, the then minister responsible for CIP, had agreed to a Chinese due diligence company. Yes, he did. But today wants to point all 10 of his fingers at us. Mr. Speaker, you'll be pleased to learn that shortly after finding out that a Chinese due diligence company was contracted, we ended the contract in October 2021. Yes, in 2021. Mr. Speaker, I would love to say much more, but as I have stated earlier, and Parliament is well aware, there is a matter before the courts by the leader of the opposition for an injunction or to stop the CIP program and to deprive our people of much needed funds to pay for healthcare, security, roads and other infrastructure. But mind you, he only wants a temporary stop until he hopes to become Prime Minister again. But why would he want to stop the program? It is simple, Mr. Speaker. He does not want the government to have access to any resources that will assist it in meeting its mandate given to the people of St. Lucia. He would rather burn down the country, if it gives him a chance to become Prime Minister again. Mr. Speaker, I can assure this Honourable House that we will put in a robust defence and do what we have to do to save the integrity of our CIP and the reputation of our beloved St. Lucia and its people. As this is our home, we came from St. Lucia, we are St. Lucians, and we should be able to raise our heads high, as we have always done, as there is no place like home. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Real Issues, powered by Blue Waters, will be back in just a moment. I'm tempted to say some more, but we passed the time already. And when Terry Fennell is here, I know that I got to cap and curtail myself, because I'm telling you, he is once again and as always on fire and in fine form.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi bus stop opposite the Grosile bus stop. Prio's Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
What is the vision for the Vendors Arcade? To provide a world-class shopping environment where local goods and services can be provided and experienced by locals and visitors. Why is this redevelopment necessary? The renovations and expansions will revitalize the infrastructure and enhance the shopping experience for vendors, locals, and visitors. Who will be responsible for the Vendors Arcade? The arcade will continue to be operated and managed by the Castries Constituency Council, who will have full responsibility for the rental and maintenance of the space. How will construction of the Vendors Arcade be managed? A phased approach will be employed to minimize disruption to daily operations. After the completion of each phase, vendors will be relocated from the former arcade, and this will continue until completion of the new facility. St. Lucia Cruise Port, investing in people.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluffs. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Big issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The man.
On this Thursday, August the 14th, with me, Shelton Daniel, and Terry Fenelon. I'm going to reserve what I have to say in addition to what I've already said for tomorrow. Terry will be elsewhere, so I'll be there, so a lot of material there. But I wanted to go and to pick out some pieces of that CIP annual report, That is available. It's there. It's online. I've just shared it in the Real Issues group, so that people can go through it. But I wanted to pick out certain parts of it. The figures, what they say, those figures were not challenged. They were not disputed, by the leader of the opposition. And this was the ideal time for him to respond, because Ernest Hilaire, pulled no punches in going at him for the untruths. This is the whole thing, the whole talking snake thing. You say something, a lie, it don't work. You wait until you think people have forgotten it, and you come back with the same vibe again. About how they have a Chinese due diligence company, when they will show that the due diligence company, you were the one who contracted them. You come and you always have something to say about Galaxy. When Galaxy, you were the one who brought them to St. Lucia. You were the one who gave them certain terms that now you're complaining about. This is the whole talking snake strategy and modus operandi of the United Workers' Party, and especially the UWP under Alan Chasney. I'm beginning to have a little conflict and reserve in me about when I criticize the United Workers' Party, because you have to ask yourself, you've been around UWP, I've never supported them, I've always had this thing, but to me, I have never seen something in the name of UWP as so completely reprehensible as this one I'm seeing under the leadership. Just the kind of people he's attracting to come and do the dirty work and so on. This criminal, this convict Martinez, bringing him on to try to have his mouth all up in our business, what's the other one again? This pastor or whatever.
Oh, Pastor Quinn.
Isn't it from St. Vincent or whatever?
And he's trying to defraud people. Come on, and have a lawsuit, you'll get $100,000.
A guy who calls himself a pastor, a foreigner again.
Carry pastor.
Want to be all up in our business, again and so on, and having those people here come anyway. Terry,
the kind of people that this side attracts is it kerfuffle. I'm baffled. I'm discombobulated.
Terry.
Yeah, honestly, I've already called you the Muhammad Ali of local politics. You have been taking a lot of the punches. You roll in the punches. You absorb them, and you counterattack. This report was just tabled on the 3rd of July. That's just 4 or 5 weeks ago or 6 weeks ago, We have copies, it's available, but somebody will sit on national TV, and the host who reads the news, compiles the news, will stay there and not correct you. Shelton, what kind of intellectual dishonesty is that? But you're supposed to say, no. The report was tabled, and the reports have been tabled in Parliament. You're going to see that there's 60,000 passports. So first of all, the CIP unit, they do not deal in passports. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to do that. They do not deal in passports. They deal in citizenships. And these fellas, whoever they are, have to take the line just as I have to take the line, go to immigration, you fill out your form, the GP must sign, and they go. And they are rejected if the documents, because one lawyer told me, he has about a lot of clients, I'll not give the number. And they can't get a passport because they don't have originals. They're claiming where they are. No. You have to take the line just as I have to take the line. You fill out your form and you go to and you hear the commissioner of police when they give the reports. They tell you how many passports have been issued. So whether it is 60,000, these people just making things, taking figures out of their head to try and scare you.
It's not a matter of making things ordinary. You're right on that one. Yeah. But they have such a devalued way of thinking that they see the CIP program in one dimension alone, context only, and that is passports. You're selling passports. And so they sit down, they concoct and conjure up their numbers that you sold 60,000 passports. Therefore, 60,000 multiplied by this is this. You remember the 1.4 billion or 1.6?
Frank Tsunami Maya always pushing about the 1.2.
Where's the fund?
Where the money?
Because these are the figures that they have concocted themselves. These are the figures that they have now enslaved and burdened their minds with. So now they obsess.
How could Ernest steal $1.4 billion? You don't know what quantum of. Sheldon, that's how you. I cannot even put that in. $1.4 billion. Come on, Frank Mayas, Tsunami, better than that.
Two things that Alan Chasney did. Correct me if I'm wrong today. Then the Labour Party, under Kenny Anthony, when they established the CIP, put a certain amount of passports, 500 per year.
Yeah.
Who obliterated that?
And your net worth must be at least 4 million, etc.
But let's forget about that for now.
Yes.
Who obliterated the annual limit of the amount of passports?
The same guy who went with Martin.
Right. Didn't they set up one avenue of citizenship? I think it was a contribution to the National Development or National Economic Fund, where it was supposed to be at a minimum of $200,000 US dollars per applicant. Who came and slashed it in half and so on, to the extent that another prime minister on the OECS, Gaston Brown, described what was happening in St. Lucia as a race to the bottom. You understand?
Yes.
Because when you go discounting like that, you force others to do the same. And then he said, where does it end, Mr. Speaker?
That's right.
This race to the bottom.
Correct.
Who was the person who did that? They come.
The not too bright prime minister.
They come and they do. Now, what you don't understand is that you virtually tie the hands of your successor government. Because when it is already being marketed there at 100,000, and another government comes and wants again to raise it to the 200,000 that it was, it begins to look as if you are a headless chicken who don't know what you're about. Doing. Yeah, your whole policy, is unstable, you're unpredictable, and the other CIPs competing against you. Right. You cannot do that and so on. Anyway, sorry about that.
You have sent out the link. People circulate it. I mean, talk about it. Because this kind of misinformation. I mean, people will sit on a television screen with a straight man. Shelton, the day you see we do that, I think we better call it a day. That I would come on TV there and lie. I mean, I may make an error. Like I was so happy when Dr. Augustine Carlton called and says, no, it was not 53, but it's, and he gave the figure. But I knew it was 53. Yes. So that was a misspeaking. It was not a lie. You understand? It is not, I didn't set out to deceive. I knew it was 53, but I the month and the year. So, these things are easily corrected. But you have perpetuated that 60,000 passports, this 1.4 billion, and Honorable Ernest laid that in the House. I have a copy of the document. You have one, Shelton. It's available. It's online for everybody to read. The other thing that I heard, you could put up Dr. Anthony, the legacy. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry, we're going to open the lines a little later because we need to clarify that again. Now, let me take my time, Shelton, to explain that. Because people are of the view. Butu, Miguel, I noticed you taking on a troll there, that watchman. We know who that watchman is. They had to tune in today because they knew that Shelton and I would be dealing with a lot of the nonsense that was spewed earlier. People, life did not begin on the 26th of July 2021. People are talking about, Alan had a vision for the airport. What vision? He had a vision of putting us in debt. His vision was to create a situation where, now let me go over there, I don't want to be sued. Dr. Kenny D. Anthony, unfortunately we lost the election in 2016. That's fine. I mean, you all made your choice, wrong choice, but that's okay. You understand? In 2016, when he demitted office, that's the legacy projects. First of all, we had a PPP arrangement for HIA, Hirano International Airport. Private-public partnership. In other words, we had an investor. That's what you call an investor. He was coming in, he would partner with the government and SLASPA. That investor would have taken on the burden of constructing and doing everything at the airport, right? Of course, we had to give up something. So they would run it for 40 years. We did not sell it. People talking about, 40 years, but y'all give DSH land for 100 years. You know what I mean? And SLASPA, the government, no charge to the consolidated fund. Will be the profits will be shared. I forgot the percentage. I don't want to give you the wrong percentage. The investor would be charged with maintaining the airport. Maintenance and all for the 30 years. But SLASPA would have control. They would have, fellas talk about security. No, we are not giving up security. Security was ours. But we would involve in profit sharing. And there'd be no charge to the consolidated fund. My grandchildren will not have to pay that loan. But these smart guys broke the partnership, broke the agreement. They paid a fine of almost 3 million EC dollars. And then they decided to go and take a loan.
Who does that?
Who does that, man?
But somebody who spends money like
they have toys.
Like they never had toys, They
but us with a loan of almost $1 billion.
If there is an opportunity to pay something at a very heavily discounted price or for no money, he always chooses the pathway where he can just take the country's money and throw it
away.
Vaccine,
vaccine money.
We have more than adequate arrangements to source vaccine.
You're going to order 1 million vaccines.
Not only that, you're putting our money in the hands of an individual to go and make message.
I fais commission.
I fais commission.
So, ladies and gentlemen, when they talk about lies and vision for the airport, under King, Sir John, Kenny finally, I could say Kenny, Tom of Damien, that's my boy.
And he doesn't want any titles. He doesn't want titles or anything like that.
Kenny, He had that sealed. And that would have been supervised by the World Bank. So, no politician here could have played their hands in any funds. They couldn't dabble and give direct awards and get kickbacks. Because the World Bank would have been supervising that airport development. And there would be no charge. We had no loan to pay. That is why, I mean, imagine that was all that money in interest we pay in there. You know what Philip J. Pierre would have been doing that? The man who is measured, not reckless. You scrap it. You squash jazz, you squash plan pour airport là. And then you sit on TV and say, Alan is a visionary and he had a vision for the airport. Nonsense. People, let us remind them, we're not revising history there. That's history. Kenny delivered that. Now the other three, I'll take them on again because we have to do the education. You all must know these things so you all could defend the party and the government. You understand? When these reckless people come and they try to lie and revise history, we have to remind them there was life before 2016 and 2021. Dr. Anthony delivered that. All you had to do was execute. By now, HIA would have been finished and would have had our international airport at no cost to the taxpayer. No cost. But you come then, you mash it up, and then you want to talk about, oh, you had vision for airport. People, let's not get it twisted. All right? They stopped a good thing. They messed it up. Kenny delivered it.
This is all Alan Chastney ever offers us, vision, plans, renderings, drawings, concept, whatever, and so on. Just the same way, a man who cannot execute anything on a hospital, but he spends millions on architectural works.
$24 million on architectural works.
But
don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm taking this one now so that we can understand that we had a plan for the airport. All these guys had to do when they came in was to execute. But you see, they couldn't put their hands in the kitty. They couldn't give direct awards. They couldn't get any kickbacks. You understand? Don't forget, they're giving a loan and tell you finder's fee. So whoever could get the loan for the airport was getting what? 1%? So if you got a loan of $500 million, $5 million is yours just for finding loan. That's the kind of corruption these fellas were in, And you want to come and talk about you had vision for airport? What vision? What vision? Nonsense. Don't let them mama guy you. Now, I want to play a game with you. That's it. I mean, I have a lot. And you will tell me whether you want me to release what I have on Facebook or to release it to you all. You see, there are people, they lie so much. You see, when you deviate from who you are, that's all you could do now is spew lies, give misinformation and stuff. I'm going to read something for you there. I mean, I have the archives. I've been going for my archives. In leadership, Shelton, sometimes when you deal with people, you get a knack to say, well, you see that employer, I must keep the paper trail because what I'm seeing there, I know that'll be trouble. They have some, it's a one-off, and you call them to the office and you speak and say, hey, and that's corrected. You could tell. You have a gut, intuition.
Yes.
So something told me a long time ago, Phil, just keep the records, man, because, sometimes people turn. And so said, so done. Now, I've taken out names, so don't call names. I don't want you to write any name there, okay? Butu, Miguel, the watchman, we know who that is, all right? I'm going to read something. We're going to put it on screen. 9 and 10, okay? Let's go. Jokwan, number 9. Now, don't call names. You'll read it. It's the truth. And then we go with the break, and then we're going to come back, and then we're going to open the lines a little later than normal. Let me pull up mine. Number 9, okay? That's the truth there, The truth. Shaste, Titus told you are reckless. And that's the truth. No matter what he says on the boulevard on Sunday, he knows you are reckless. He cannot walk that back. Titus, I give you a break today. I'm in a good mood, Titus. First, it was Grosile. Then Castries South. Then Soufre. Now Miku South. This thrice rejected politician does not intend to put in the work to win a seat. Rather, he expects one to be handed to him. And if those under his leadership don't play ball and kindly evacuate the seat, he is prepared to use daddy's money to buy a safe seat. Where is the commitment to working a seat even when you have lost? Philip Pierre did it. Spider did it. And many others did it. Win or lose, right? You could put up number 10. But no. One entitled politician who has prime ministerial ambitions at any price, and she means that literally, expects a safe seat to be handed to him on a golden platter. I hope the people of Miku South give him a dose of the medicine the people of Soufrière give him and let him know they are not for sale. Mm-hmm. Miguel, that is, you know who is that, Miguel? The watchman. Alright? Now that's the truth, you know. Miku South, that's a message to you. You see that person, when that person wrote that, they meant it. Now there's more in the archives, but I'm not going to delete that now. I'm going to delete that. Not even tomorrow. Tomorrow I have Honorable Emma Hippolyte. Mm-hmm. We're going to be talking VAT and stuff. But Shelton, when I join you on Monday, mm-hmm. we have to go for the archives. And all I want you to tell me, my listeners and my followers, do you want me to release? Should I release it in the Real Issues group? Should I go on Facebook and release? Because that person was speaking the truth. And the truth, I told you already, does not mutate, you know. 1 + 1 is always going to be 2. I knew that from the time I was born.
Of course.
It was before me. And long after I've gone, 1 and 1 is 2. Mm-hmm. And when I write something that is true, it remains true. I may change, but it is true. Now, that person spoke the truth. And there's more of that truth where that came from. Mm-hmm. And I want to let you know, listeners and viewers, I want to release that, the archives that I have saved for you. So when people sit down and they lie through the teeth, trying to please, Master, take me back. I love you. I didn't mean the things I said. Forgive me. No, you cannot walk that back. Titus, the reckless that statement there is true. You cannot walk that back. We have evidence. And I'm going to show you in another writing, part 4, why what you have said there is true. Very true. So you can't walk these things back. You understand? What you said about the guy using daddy's money to buy a safe seat, that is true. And we really want the people of Miku South to let him know he has failed as a representative, he has failed as a prime minister, and worse yet, he has failed as a minister of finance. The country is broke. Mm-hmm. The country is broke. We have no more money. And COVID made it worse. The country is broke. I mean, you want to try and repackage meat? Butu, Miguel, they cannot repackage this guy. We have the receipts. And going forward, we are going to present the evidence. We're going to debunk every lie, every piece of misinformation. We have to speak the truth at all times. Get that clear? Get that clear? We're not wasting time. I think we are getting close to...
Go ahead. We still have
a minute?
We still have a minute.
Yeah, so I don't want you to call names. I mean, I know you all know who wrote that. They're under the live there. Misbehaving. I mean, I have more to release. Because Shasne, you're not going to come back. But watch them, you know. These are the real snakes. They wrote the truth about you and now they're trying to crawl back. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, when you are promised jobs at a stupendous amount of money,
you'll sell your soul.
You'll sell your soul, you know. You'll sell your mother.
If you're already an immoral...
Or a person, vile, vulgar, immoral.
Yeah.
You'll sell your family.
Yeah, unethical person.
Unethical people.
Yeah.
So you come and lie. You'll come there and say 60,000 passports are sold when you know for a fact. And your host should have known that too. That it was laid before Parliament. And there's nothing close to that. CIP does not deal in passports. You're supposed to know that. The immigration department does that, and the court, the commissioner of police gives his report. So where 60,000 passports were sold? Come on, and then according to you'll multiply. So guy, this fella in his adult diapers before his computer, you know, and he types nonsense. Oh, if you sell 60,000 passports by that, you get 1.4 billion. Where that money gone? And I have friends repeating that nonsense. You know what I mean? People, we are not going to be fooled. We are going to come. The education, as Shelton and I have agreed, we have to continue with the education of the masses. We have to let you know what the truth is. Don't take what we say, You know what the Bible says, man? You have to search the word for yourself. When we say something,
search the scriptures
daily
to see if in fact this thing is
so when I come and I speak, I have to respect the teachings of my pastor. He's deceased. May his soul rest in peace. You know what I mean? He used to say, follow me as I follow Christ, And I always try to apply that to Guy Joseph and his fellows. I say, but you think Guy can get anybody saved? Even what's his fellow name? Hilfiger, Tommy. You think Tommy, the way he's behaving there and thing? No, man. Bad Ventis and that's not good, man.
I told you a minute.
A minute, it's up. Yeah.
Real Issues powered by Blue Waters. I think on the other side of this break, we will be shortly opening the telephone lines for your calls and try to read some of your messages as well. We're going until 2 o'clock. So please continue staying with us. Don't go away. Lots more to unpack and lots more to hear from you as well.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The CDC opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosile Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417, let your wellness be our stress.
What is the vision for the Vendors Arcade? To provide a world-class shopping environment where local goods and services can be provided and experienced by locals and visitors. Why is this redevelopment necessary? The renovations and expansions will revitalize the infrastructure and enhance the shopping experience for vendors, locals, and visitors. Who will be responsible for the Vendors Arcade? The arcade will continue to be operated and managed by the Castries Constituency Council, who will have full responsibility for the rental and maintenance of the space. How will construction of the Vendors Arcade be managed? A phased approach will be employed to minimize disruption to daily operations. After the completion of each phase, vendors will be relocated from the former arcade, and this will continue until completion of the new facility. St. Lucia Cruise Port, investing in people.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with big issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The man.
849, the mobile number on which you can WhatsApp call us, 758-487-9849, and the local landline number, 4533-911. So 487-9849. Those of you who are overseas and want to call without the expense of an international direct dial call, you can use the WhatsApp line, 758-487-9849, and you can use the local landline, 4533-911. I think we have our first caller standing by. Real Issues, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Shelton. How are you?
Are you doing okay?
How is your other comrade there that is firing on 258 cylinders?
Yeah, he's answering you already. I think he's firing on 758, you know.
Okay. Let me say something, Shelton. I'm not going to stay long. I just want a simple question. Maybe somebody can help me. You know, one of the things that I'm amazed of is a lot of information, the way it goes in and out of the prison and these things like this. Are there not a system can be put in place that when you are somewhere inside of the prison, that you will not get any kind of calls going in and out in certain areas? Huh?
Oh, you mean like essentially some kind of jamming of the calls and so on?
Yeah, I mean when you are, you cannot be in prison and then
if
you have your free way, or you say
the technology
and to go and to know.
Yeah.
You know, you could even run your business in prison when you're in prison.
Yeah.
So I am saying there's nothing can be done, because if we're now looking to stop crime and try to fight with crime, there must be ways and means for us to do that. No?
Yeah, I believe theoretically it's something that can be done. I'm sure the technology exists. Yeah.
Because then a lot of that things is been happening from, I would say, revenge is been taken for. This one says that man fucked me up. Sorry, that one do me that one do me that man do me that. But if these conversations could not be had freely inside of the prison, these things can still be run like that.
Yeah, okay. So tell me exactly
I just asked a question. I don't want to keep on talking today, but I believe, in my humble opinion, that is something we had to work on it.
Yeah.
Because this is a serious thing. Because that crime thing there, while it does not trouble me too much, when I say trouble me, it is not good. But one of the things I know, when I was in England, the lady from Virgin Holidays said to us, it is 98 times easier to get robbed in the street of England than in the Caribbean. But I'm not saying the Caribbean crime is supposed to be continued. We should be condoned it. But I'm saying that There's two things with development, is development and crime. We must always put that in proper perspective. But the other thing I'm hearing the opposition making noise about is that crime. But the first time crime goes over 60 was under the UWP, and then it continues. So it was not something that they can say they didn't know about. You understand? They were the one, when they took over under Shaftney and these guys, they were the first time crime went over 60 for the year was under them. So it's not something that they don't know. And the other thing I'm very uplifted about is that everything they talk about crime, but none of them have not come with one string of evidence to say, look, this is what we should do to stop crime. The government is not doing it. What can we do? That is what need to be done, because Labour Party was asking for meetings with oppositions and everything to come together. Let us discuss crime. Let us get a solution to crime. But under the UWP, all what they do, they laugh, they criticize, and they are happy. People dying. It's just like you are in Israel. I mean, Netanyahu, what he does is kill people, and he's very happy to it. So I am saying, if you come in and you say something is bad, your intention is to run the country in the next election because that's why you are outside the campaigning. What solution do you have to make things better?
Okay.
Tell people that for me, please. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. 4879849, and I think we have another caller, one that we always eagerly welcome and anticipate. Good afternoon, Real Issues.
Hi, good afternoon, Shelton and Terence. I'm Carlton here.
Augustine. What?
I wanted to talk about this 60,000 passport claim. First of all, St. Lucia does not sell passports. I think Terry alluded to it. We sell citizenship. And the data shows that for fiscal year 2023-2024, there were over 5,000 applications, and citizenship was granted to about 1,200. This means that only 1,200 passports would have been granted. So this claim of 60,000 passports sold is just misleading. One of my jobs in my younger days was a stint at the audit department. And guess where you audited? The passport office. So not only did we check the number of blank passports that were received, but how many passports were actually issued. So it should be very easy for this claim to be checked, for the opposition to verify what they're saying is true. All they have to do is check the auditor's report. All government departments, including the passport office, are audited on a regular basis. So this is just a figure they pulled out, and there's no justification. I want to take a little time to tell them that for draw a letter, we have proof. Vaccine money, we have proof.
Correct.
A censor, we have proof. Every single allegation, St. Jude, we have proof. They are throwing numbers, making allegations. They have not one iota of proof. Come up with the documents. And people like Timothy Polio need to do better. You sit down there as a moderator and you let people spew all kind of garbage without trying to verify whether or not what they're saying is truthful. The other point I wanted to make, I want people to look at the DSH agreement and some of the changes that Honorable Ernest Hiller alluded to that were made by Shaftney. It is actually enshrined in the DSH agreement. Section 6 of the DSH agreement actually calls for changes to the CIP. 1, to allow investments like DSH. 2, to reduce the vetting time. And 3, to remove the cap on the number of applications from 500. So it's enshrined in the DSH agreement. Also, this thing about overseas escrow account, section 7 of the DHS is also there. So when they're criticizing, shall say it's like a guy who is caught stealing and then accuses the other guy of stealing. You know, all what he's accusing the government of is things that he did. So I want to tell them, provide us with proof. Stop throwing out those numbers. And the sad thing is, there are people who are intelligent who believe this 60,000 claim on this idea that we have 1.2 billion lying around. People who are supposedly intelligent have called me and are arguing that this is correct. So we have to spend time debunking this thing, not only today, but go over it until election and when as much as possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. 487-9849. WhatsApp, call us on this number, and also on 4533911, where we have a caller standing by. You're on the air. Go ahead. Hello.
Hi, Shelton.
Hey,
Terry.
how are you doing?
Not too bad. Gentlemen, I listened to Timothy Polio's show last night with his special guest. Now, I'm not about to attack Timothy Polio's guest. That is not me. That is not my style. I don't attack people. I attack untruths. I attack inaccuracies. Once I'm in possession of the truth, once I'm in possession of accurate data. But, gentlemen, there is something about trying to sell something or somebody which is or who is unsellable. Alan Shastney is unsellable. Based on the type of record that he has and the type of utterances, statements that he spews out there, he is unsellable. But you see, when people try to sell people who are unsellable, they say all kinds of stuff that do not gel with truth, with facts. So, let me give you one, for instance, based on what I heard last night. Timothy Polio's guest said that, yes, it is true, she used to attack Shastney, but what sold her on Shastney was Shastney's big vision. Shastney is a visionary. He is innovative, imaginative. And that big vision that he presented for the south of the island. Now, I suppose she was referring to the DSH agreement that Shastney signed with Teo Aking. But here's the deal. I mean, Shastney spoke about investment, and he used to speak about investment and investors and so on. But the record is there. Shastney's idea of investment is inviting so-called investors into St. Lucia and using the resources of our country to bankroll those so-called investments. How can you label that or ever begin to label that as investment? That is not an investor coming into your country with his or her own money. That is what we know real investment to be, real investors, who we consider real investors to be, people who come into your country to invest their own money. But when you invite people into your country and you bankroll, you pay for the so-called investments using not your own money, not your own resources, but the resources of our country. How can you term that investment by a legitimate investor? So here's the deal. I mean, the man gave away 1,000 acres of prime land, our heritage, land which belongs to St. Lucia and St. Lucians, gave away 1,000 acres of that at $1 per acre per year for 99 years. In addition to that, he built a road to accommodate Teo Aking, costing $13 million. He removed an agricultural project that was granted to us, I think, was it by the Japanese? Granted to us, costing upwards of $30 million.
The Taiwanese.
Sorry?
The Taiwanese, I think. The abattoir?
Yes, the abattoir.
The Taiwanese.
The Taiwanese. He got rid of that. He put up Teo Aking's horses in air-conditioned comfort. He paid for all of that. And what he said was, the horse racing, he built a horse racing track costing millions of dollars to facilitate what Teo Aking called something that would spur, and he himself repeated it, something that would spur investment in St. Lucia, that would attract other investments, the horse racing. But guess what? After 2 races, Teo Aking packed up his horses and left, and nobody even knew. When Teo Aking left with his horses, all we knew was that one day the horses were there, and the other day they were gone after only 2 races. So when you take people like that and you bring them into St. Lucia and you call those people investors and you take our money, the same thing he did with Ojo Labs.
Yeah.
He brought in those people from Canada or America, wherever, and he said they're investors. But guess what? He used our money, state resources, to bankroll Ojo Labs, even paying Ojo Labs staff, paying for the facilities where they were operating from. All that kind of stuff. How do you call that real investment when you're using our own money to bankroll those so-called investments?
You won't understand that. You can't understand that. You would need to have a master's degree in development banking, which is a cross between an MBA and an economics degree. You don't have that. I don't even need to ask you, so that's why you don't understand, okay?
Yeah, and on top of that, Timothy's guest said that Chasney brought before COVID, he brought under Alan Chasney before COVID, when he came in, he brought the debt to GDP ratio down to 59.3%. Gentlemen, I was so taken aback when I heard that. Because for the past 20 to 25 years, based on my knowledge of what I read in the OECS Social and Economic Review, no government has ever brought the debt to GDP ratio down below 65 or 70%. Not below that. But there she was claiming that under Chasney, before COVID, the debt to GDP ratio was 59.3%. Again, I don't attack people. I just attack the untruths, the inaccuracies that they spew when I am in possession of the truth.
Okay.
You understand? So, when those people come, and again,
let's give others a chance. You've been on for a while, so wrap up, yeah.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Okay. We have another caller on the line. Hello, Real Issues.
Good afternoon, Shelton, and your co-host.
Hey, good afternoon, comrade. How are you?
Not too bad, man. Well, yes. I'm calling today to let you know that our esteemed party has called in the 5 candidates for an interview today to select one among the 5 candidates that is vying to become endorsed for the Solibus constituency.
Yeah, very good.
So I want you to know that, and the people to know that today is the day that those 5 able men and women will be facing the executive to improve their skills or the ability to be the candidate for the Solibus seat.
Wonderful.
So we are saying after this is done, we in Sozel will put our heads together and to rally behind whoever of the candidates that they select. I know we, the people of Sozel, are unique people. We will put our heads together and to remove the PM, not the PM, sorry, the MP for Swaziland, Honorable Bradley Felix, which has no bones in the United Workers' Party, and we in the Swaziland constituency cannot have someone like that that has no power in the party. It's just like a bread buyer boy that has no position, so we do not want to stay in opposition anymore. I am sure, and I trust in the thinking of the Swaziland people, we all will come together not to be in opposition anymore. Because we know Mr. Bradley is an honest young man, but they do not respect him in the United Workers' Party.
Correct.
So we, the people of Swaziland, we are from different hills. In Creole, di la ni komen different monde avec ba en Swaziland. So nous tous ces gens qui en différents ba, bada, ba, salti, bistan, tous ces différents ba qui mettent nous ensemble en pleine Swaziland là pour nous amener la victoire by Labour Party à la Swaziland. Moi, j'ai confiance là et n'a prié dit que nous tous qui mettons une seule voix et voter by n'importe en dans 5 candidats ça yo sélecté pour représenter nous parce que nous pas à Western en opposition encore parce que nous faisons mistake dans l'élection avec mon cas hope là nous jouons une réponse dans critère qui sélecté pour venir candidat là nous quand mettre tête nous ensemble tout bas quand mettre quoi ensemble avec nous faire un seul plateau et pour nous goumer c'est mon qui en bas mon qui cache nous comme United Workers Party. Okay. Mais moi, je voulais faire ça, M. Bradley, c'est un bon monde, mais les UWP n'a pas gardé quand il y a un seul monde qui n'est pièce voix en partie. Il n'est pas first, il n'est pas second, il n'est pas chairman, il n'est pas rien en partie, parce que c'est un petit boy qui peut dire les gains sites. Donc, nous ne parlons pas ça encore. Avec ça, nous, quand nous mettons un monde là pour ça, nous mettons.
Okay, merci un peu. All right, let's take what is to be our final call, I think.
Hello, yes?
Yes, you're on the air. I think you're our final call. Go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you very much for accepting my call. I want to congratulate both of you, of course, for excellent job that you've been doing.
Thank you.
I noticed that you talked about Dr. Anthony a while ago, and it is important, particularly what these guys are spewing around in relation to John Compton, that we need to make an analysis of what the UWP has done versus what the St. Lucia Labour Party has done over the years, and to remind them of a few things. I noticed that you had something about the 4-lane highway, for example, which was incidentally done under my watch, while I was the Minister of Communications and Works. And also, you forgot to mention one of the major things in terms of the development of the whole country, and including the OECS, and that is the difficulty that we had with cable and wireless in relation to telecommunications. That was a major feat that was done, where I got my blows, of course, from Rick Wade and people like that, in attacking the telecommunications industry. And that is of fundamental importance for the development of St. Lucia and the OECS. That's something that the United Workers' Party could never have done because they would never tackle a company like Cable and Wire. Then there's the point about opening up rural electrification was missed. Dr. Anthony did a lot of work in terms of rural electrification. For example, the United Workers' Party refused to give people in Bouton, in Soufrière, for example, electricity. And all places like Bouton, Gayabois, and all places in Labrie and so on were given electricity. Then there's the question of security. The major input.
Okay, sorry, we have to go now.
Of Thursday, 14th August 2025 were Double Daily Grand 117 18 21, Big 4 1921. The Big 4 multi-X ball drawn is 5X. Pick 2 6-4. The Pick 2 multi-X ball drawn is 2X. One off 5-6-0. Lucky 3 6-2-9. The Lucky 3 multi-X ball drawn is FE.
The man, the voice, Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluffs. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell V4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosile Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
What is the vision for the Vendors Arcade? To provide a world-class shopping environment where local goods and services can be provided and experienced by locals and visitors. Why is this redevelopment necessary? The renovations and expansions will revitalize the infrastructure and enhance the shopping experience for vendors, locals, and visitors. Who will be responsible for the Vendors Arcade? The arcade will continue to be operated and managed by the Castries Constituency Council, who will have full responsibility for the rental and maintenance of the space. How will construction of the Vendors Arcade be managed? A phased approach will be employed to minimize disruption to daily operations. After the completion of each phase, vendors will be relocated from the former arcade, and this will continue until completion of the new facility. St. Lucia Cruise Port, investing in people.
The man, the voice, Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Big issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The man, the voice, Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Big issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.